Welcome back. You know, today we're going to have we're going to experience some fun recipes. A lot of times when you're eating healthy, you think that you have to deny yourself, and that's not the way that I like to look at things. So a lot of people feel they have to get rid of desserts if they're going to lose weight or be healthy. But with raw food, plant-based foods, you can eat desserts because they're full of nutrition. Today we're going to do a chocolate smoothie, which is not necessarily a dessert, but if you're trying to get off caffeine or just trying to be healthier, it's a great way to add some health and yet some sweetness to your morning. You can also drink it in the afternoon or evening. And it does have a little caffeine because of the chocolate, but it also is full of antioxidants, it's full of fiber, and has spinach in it. The thing about the chocolate, if you're wanting to hide the green for your family or friends, you can put it in a chocolate smoothie. The color's a little different, but it's definitely not green. So we're going to start with, I've already put 4 cups of pure water in here. And I'm going to go ahead and add 2 large handfuls of spinach. This is baby spinach. And spinach is full of protein and vitamins, all those phytonutrients from that green. And then bananas. Now bananas, I don't know if you know, most people open a banana this way. The correct way to open a banana is from the bottom. I just found that out this year. Never knew. And a lot of times when you open it from the bottom, you know, you have these threads, these little stringy things you have to pull off when you open it the other way. When you open it from the bottom, it usually comes with it. Most of the time when I make a chocolate smoothie, I use frozen bananas. Today, because I wanted to show you how to peel it, we're using fresh bananas. It'll be cooler. It'll be kind of it'll be thicker if you use the frozen bananas. And I'm going to go ahead and put 3 in. You can do 2 or 3 depending on what you like. Again, bananas are a sweet fruit, so if you have diabetes, you need to be aware of that. The fiber in the spinach is going to help the sugar go into your bloodstream at a slower rate because there is fiber in it. And we're going to use 2 medjool dates and take the pit out. The pits do not grind up well. And these are soft. You don't have to soak them. If you have dates that are hard, you want to put them in water for just a couple of minutes. It'll soften it. And you can add the soak water in too because it releases some of the sugars. And let's see what else. The raw cacao powder. You need 1/3 of a cup to 1/2 a cup depending on your taste. So I'm going to start with 1/3 of a cup. And we're going to put the lid on here. I'm going to push all that down under the water so the cacao powder won't fly up. Take a little taste of this. It's pretty perfect right there. If you need it sweeter, you can add a little bit of agave nectar or honey. Usually, I'm not a big sweet person anymore. When I changed my lifestyle, I lost my sweet tooth, so this is great for me. I'm going to blend it just a little bit longer because I can see it's kind of starting to separate there. And again, if you use frozen bananas, it's going to be really slushy, more so than it is right now with the fresh bananas. This is, I think it's a little bit richer. The green smoothies I can drink several glasses. I can drink almost a whole container. But with the chocolate, because it is richer and it's sweeter, I tend to just have a glass at a time. You can make this and, you can drink on it for a couple of days. If you want to add more protein to it, if you feel you need more protein, if you want more calories, there's some people in life who actually need calories. They're too thin. And so you can use almond milk or a nut milk, and it will be a little creamier if you do that. So there we have our chocolate smoothie, quick and easy. I had one customer who was trying to get his boys, he had 3 boys, and he was trying to get them to eat healthier. So he would order a half gallon to a gallon of chocolate smoothie every couple of days, and that would be their breakfast for 2 or 3 days that week. And that way he knew that they were getting some nutrients. They felt they were having some fun because it was chocolate, for them it was chocolate milk. So it's a good way to introduce healthier foods to kids or people who might have an aversion to green. All right. Next we're going to make no-bake cookies. Do you guys remember no-bake cookies that you put on the stove with butter and peanut butter, Hershey's cocoa, what else was in there? I think coconut, oatmeal. Anyway, they were just nummy, and I like to eat them right out of the pan. You put them on wax paper and they'll harden. Well, this is my version. It's a raw version of that. The flavor is very similar. They're not as gooey and doughy as the others, and they're not as sweet in the sense they're sweet, but it's a richer flavor because the cacao powder is such a dark chocolate. So we're going to start with a cup of gluten-free oatmeal. Now, oats are gluten-free anyway, but if you don't get gluten-free oats, you might have oats that have been contaminated by growing in a field next to something that's gluten. So if you have a gluten intolerance, use gluten-free oats. And then shredded coconut. I'm reserving just a little bit for the end. So we have a cup of that and half a cup of ground flaxseed. I grind my own in my, you can grind it in a Vitamix, or you can grind it in a coffee grinder or spice grinder. And then a half a cup of raw cacao powder. I'm just going to mix these up first, all the dry ingredients together. This is one it's great for kids to work with. If you have children or grandchildren, get them some gloves because it's nice. It doesn't stick to their fingers, but then they can work it with their hands. Kind of play with it like Play-Doh. All right. I'm just going to put a pinch of salt in here. So it's going to be maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now I use regular vanilla sometimes, but I also use essential oils, and this is it's called medicine flower vanilla. It's for culinary use, and it's just vanilla, concentrated vanilla extract. And I just put about a half a dropper in to equal that teaspoon of vanilla. And then honey. I'm going to use honey. I like honey. I don't use honey a lot in recipes because I think it changes the flavor. But in these cookies, it's great. And honey has a stickier consistency. So it works really well with this recipe because you need something to hold it together. So there's about 2 tablespoons of honey. And then this is almond butter. Some almond butter will be thicker or thinner. This is raw almond butter. It's not the roasted almonds, so it actually does have some nutrients in it. It has a different flavor than roasted almond butter. This is a real thick almond butter. Some of them are thinner. The thinner ones, I think, can tend to work better. So I think we have all of our ingredients. You can, instead of the honey, you could use agave nectar. You can use coconut aminos. Coconut aminos are, it's kind of a molassesy, tastes like sorghum molasses. And it has the same consistency as the honey, just really thick and gooey, which is, it's worked great for this too. Because the almond butter is hard and it's not real liquidy, I'm going to mix this with my hands, so we're going to get messy here. And this is where the kid part comes in. So we just want to mix everything together. You want it to hold together. It's going to be a real thick mixture that you can scoop up with a cookie cutter and form, a cookie scoop and form. Sometimes you might have to add a little more sweetener if it's not holding together. But it is messy, messy, messy. We'll take just a little taste and see what. That's good. I'm going to add just a little more honey. To help bind it together. These cookies, they freeze well. They'll last for 2 or 3 weeks if they're out of the fridge. I keep most of my desserts in the freezer and I pull them out as I need it. I found, I said I lost my sweet tooth, but these cookies, they can be dangerous for me because I really like them. So I keep them in the freezer and I'll pull out 1 or 2 to have as a snack, take with me if I know I'm going to be somewhere and I'm going to be late on a meal, or if I just need a quick pick-me-up. These are great to take with you. So when we do a full scoop, this is a small cookie scoop. And I just flatten them out and then I round the edges. I just kind of press them. If you want to make balls, you can. So I make them flat on the sides. So they're like little discs. Then I just press them into coconut, top and bottom, just so they have a little bit of coconut on them. And I will put them, like I said, in a tray or in a cookie sheet, and I'll freeze them, and then I can just stack them. So we're just making them round, and then going around and making it smooth. So these are full of protein, full of fiber, full of goodness. But it's a great way to have a snack, especially if you're going somewhere where you know there's going to be desserts that you're going to be tempted by, or food you'll be tempted by. These are satisfying. They fill you up. You don't need a lot of them because they're rich. They're very rich. The dark chocolate, the raw cacao powder, really is very satisfying because it has so many nutrients in it. And because of the dark flavor, the richness, you don't need a lot to satisfy. And again, if they don't hold together, you can add a little bit more almond butter or a little more honey. And this is a great thing for kids to, oops, that one is not holding together. Great thing for kids to do. The other option, just making it into a ball. And rolling it in the coconut. If you wanted to, you could dip it in the cocoa powder. It's going to be a little messier, but if you like that chocolate flavor, you can dip it in that. Right, so there you have a quick dessert and a chocolate smoothie that can satisfy that sweet craving. So again, I just encourage you to make better choices today so tomorrow can be your best, so you can live in optimum health. Enjoy your cookies.